stop envying people. Eliminate that whole feeling, that idea of envying somebody entirely. It does you no good, and it just creates this unneeded hate in your life. So let me give you an example. When, let's say that you're a middle class or a poor person, right? And you meet a rich guy. And let's say that this rich guy, he was confident in himself. He talked to you just like a normal person. He wasn't disrespectful or anything. But then you get this feeling, or you say something to discredit everything he's done, whether it's saying that, he just got lucky, or going on and on about how he's a douchebag, even though he didn't show that. Or maybe you talked about how, oh, I think he just thinks he's better than me. Putting that own thought in your head, even though he didn't say anything about that, right? This would be an example of envy to me anyways. Now, I'm no, language teacher. I'm no language arts teacher. I'm not an English teacher. It might be a wrong definition, but to me, envying is like when you see someone doing better than you, or they're better at the specific thing than you, and you hate that because they're better than you. That's envy, right? Like I said, I'm not a language arts teacher, so maybe I'm wrong. But to me, that's what envying is. So you're probably like, all right, then what would be the better thing to do instead? And to me, it would be like, let's say that you are middle class or poor, and you do meet a rich guy. Instead of judging every little thing that he does and just hating on him for no reason because he's doing better than you, maybe this would be a time to ask questions, to pick his brain. You get what I'm going with this. Like, you pick his brain, you ask questions, you engage in the conversation, and you're present in the moment. Ask questions. And you'd be surprised that if you turn this envy into love and just genuine appreciation, or genuine just interest in what they're talking about, that could turn into a friendship forever. You don't know. Literally, the best friendships, you never really know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. It just happens. And I think you could do this with a lot of things. Like, for example, when I would go to this water park, it had a bunch of high dives and stuff. I've talked about this before in past videos. I like doing flips and stuff. I really do. I enjoy it, but I never really had the guts. I never really had the balls to do a backflip off the 30-foot. And I would see these guys that were either my age, some were younger, and some were way older than me, doing these backflips off 30-foot like it was nothing. And to me, instead of hating on them and being like, oh, there's a piece of shit, they're a little bunch of cocky bastards. No, they're realistically, what they're doing is they're just enjoying their life. They're good at that. That's their thing. And that's something I want to get good at one day. And I know this might sound kind of dumb, but that's just one of my little hobbies. I really like cliff jumping. I really like doing freestyle flipping, stuff like that. I'm not amazing at it. I'm really not, but I do want to get better at one day. Anyways, getting off track. So instead of sitting there hating on these people, I just asked genuine questions, and I was like, holy shit, dude, that's crazy. How do you go about that? And those create some of the best relationships ever, because you're just seem genuinely interested. And yeah, sometimes when you say stuff like that, you'll say it to the wrong person. They're dickheads and they'll treat you like shit. But most of the time, they'll give you a genuine answer. And there was this one guy, he was a way older guy, probably in his 50s. So the way this park works is there's a 10-foot with a diving board, a 20-foot, and then there's a giant 30-foot. And when the 30-foot opens, everything else shuts down. So the 10 and 20 shut down completely. Well, before the 30-foot opened up, I was jumping off the 10. I could do a backflip off 10, pretty, really smooth. It looked good. Everybody talked about how amazing it looked, right? Amazing. Got to the 20. I could do it. I could do a backflip off 20, but it didn't really look great. But I didn't hurt myself, so that's the most important thing. But I could never get myself to go off the 30. And basically this whole story, this is what happened. So I got up to the 20-foot, and I did my backflip. Got back up there, and this guy, this older dude, like I said, in his 50s, he was watching me. And he asked me a question. He's like, you gonna do it off the 30-foot? I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. And he was like, well, why not? I was like, I'm just not comfortable with that. And he's like, dude, it's literally just the same thing. Yeah, it's higher height, but you do the exact same thing. You just stand at the edge, If this is the 30 foot, you stand at the edge and then you just lean backwards and you jump off. He's like, you lean, you get to about here, you push off, and you go back. And then you go all the way around, obviously, backflip and land it. He's like, it's the same exact thing. I was like, yeah, I think that's easier said than done. He sees me do my backflip 20, and he judged me a little bit. He'll be like, your form's ass, you know, whatever. It's a little banter, it's funny. Then eventually the 30 foot opened up. And I jumped off like normal, and then this guy came back, and he was behind me in line. And he was like, you're going to go off the 30 foot, you're going to backflip the 30 foot. I was like, yeah, I mean, not saying I'm closed off to it, but I don't know about that. And it sounds very dumb, but the dude was just like, this is exactly what he said. He said, if you die, you die. Simple as that. And I was like, you know what, you're right. It sounds stupid, but it's true. He was like, if you die, you die. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And now am I saying I did it right after that? No. I jumped off like one more time, got back up, and then it was his turn to jump, and I was behind him, and he goes, all right, now watch me. I was like, okay. And exactly what he does. He literally puts his hands up like this. He's like, ready? I was like, mm-hmm. He leaned back, got to about, like I said, about right here, 45-degree angle. And then my angle might be wrong. But anyways, he got to about right here, pushed off, beautiful backflip. And he was like, he was yelling at me from the bottom. He's like, all right, it's your turn now. Like, he's screaming this in front of everybody. I was like, I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. And eventually, I was like, you know what? If you die, you die. You know, I only live once. I might as well live my life to the fullest. So I got up to the edge, like literally terrified. I'm very worried that I'm going to get hurt, but I sat at the edge. I yelled out to everybody behind me because there was like probably 30 people waiting in line. I was like, all right, give me a countdown. Everybody starts counting down like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as soon as I heard 3, I was like, 3, 2, 1. It's like my life just left. Like my soul just left my body. Like it was there. But it's like it had that feeling of like, man, this is what it feels like to be alive. I know it sounds dumb. You're like, oh, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. Well, I'm just telling you, like, that feeling of like finally being alive hit me right there. And I was like, oh shit. And I got to the edge and I did it. I kind of landed on my ass a little bit, but I did it. And the guy at the bottom, he's like, yeah, man, good shit. And my form wasn't great, but I did it. And I was very proud. And then he's like, see, I told you, just lean back, jump off, and boom. And I even did it again right after that. And people were like, man, you're crazy for that. Because this was like my first time doing it. But perfect example, like if I would have sat there and envied him because he was better than me, where do I get out of that? Like, what do I get out of that? Because he's better than me at this? And you'll notice that, like, obviously my situation is different than most. But, like, when you look at, like, wealthy people, you hate on them. You call them names. You treat them like shit because you think that they think they're better than you. And, yeah, some of them do think. I'm not going to lie. Just like some middle-class people think they're better than everybody. Some poor people think they're better than everyone. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. That's just a thing for everyone. There are people out there that think they're better than everybody. There's people that think they're beneath everyone. And there's people that just stay in their own lane. But, perfect example. If I would have envied that guy, if I would have envied those guys doing that stuff that are way better than me, I would learn nothing. Same thing, another story. I was at a trampoline park. This guy, he was like probably in his 40s. And I was talking to this dude, and he was doing crazy stuff. Like, I'm talking like fulls, double fulls. He didn't do double backflip in front of me, but he showed me videos. Like, the dude was serious about his stuff. And same thing. I went up to him. I asked him, I was like, dude, how do you do that? And he's like, to be honest, man, I look at people that are better than me, and it just kind of gives me that motivation, and I try my hardest to learn the skill. He's like, it sounds dumb, but it's true. It's just all I do. And before that, I was terrified of trying to do a back full. I literally told myself, I was like, this is not going to happen. And what did I do? I asked him for advice. So he's like, all right, you sit here, you take your arms, you put them to your side, like in a diagonal motion, right? And you swing your arms over your shoulder. So obviously, depending on which way you look, that's the way you won't. For me, it's my left side. So I did that. And look, it was terrible the first time. He even told me, he's like, all right, you're not really going backwards, you're going forwards. He's like, look over your shoulder and make sure you're really looking. Throw your arms as hard as you possibly can and turn your whole body. Just, and I listened to him. guess what happened after I listened to him? I got a bag full. I even did more than a bag full a little bit. I did like a bag full and a half. And he was like, there you go, man. That's good shit right there. And see, when you really open your mind to people that are better than you, you stop surrounding yourself with people that are working for your ego, because let's be honest, that's what most of us do. And you start surrounding yourself with people that are better than you. You start to learn a lot more about either that thing you want to get into, or that skill you want to be, or you just want to be a better person. So you surround yourself with positive people. That is good. And what's bad is when you surround yourself with people beneath you so that you simply can just be above them for your ego. It's like dating. Like when, like you see girls, like everybody's like, whoa, he doesn't deserve her because she's so much better looking than he is. And I'm not saying this is about all of them. It's not. There are some girls that generally just like the way they look. Like the way the ugly guy looks or the mid-average guy looks. Some of them are like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's some of them that do it specifically because they don't want to get hurt. And I don't think that's right. Because you are dating them out of safety. I don't think that's right. I really don't. I think you should be dating somebody out of purely because you love them or you like them, and that's your motto. Do not date somebody out of safety. Like, yes, will you not get hurt? Sure, but like, you're making the other person live a whole lie in his life, and that's not right. If you really like the person, that's what matters. But if your intention is simply because you don't want to get hurt again, that's why you're getting with them. That's not right for them. So in these situations, you got to think more about yourself. But anyways, back on track. I listened to the guy. The guy was an amazing cliff jumper. Found out he lived really close to me. Cool dude. But if I would have just sat there and been like, man, he's just a showboater. All he cares about is attention. And that's what a lot of people do with this shit. And it's annoying. I see it all the time. It's from everybody. School, work, there's people that are just like, oh, piece of shit, you think he's better than me? Like, no. And even if he does, even if she thinks she's better, even if he thinks he's better than you, why do you care? Like, genuinely, like, why do you care? Why do you let it hurt you so much? Like, do you not have better things to worry about in your life? If not, then maybe you should start looking back on your own life. Maybe it's time to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? But I'm telling you, when you act out of love, act out of intention, interest, not envy, your life will be so much better. You'll actually be able to create relationships. And in fact, you'll get better at the thing that you want to get better at because you're opening your mind to people that are better than you. You're putting your ego to the side. You're like, you know what? I want better for myself. And even if little things, like for me, like cliff jumping, flipping, like stuff like that, these guys were better than me. And I understood that. And I wanted to learn from them. And that's what I did. Instead of sitting there hating on them, I showed interest. And I was like, dude, teach me. And he did. And that's really all it takes. And it's the same thing, like, and I'm keep mentioning rich people because this is a big one. People envy people that have money, or they envy people who have success. Money and relationships. People envy happy couples. They're always comparing themselves to these perfect couples online. Like, you see all the time. And you got your girlfriend or your boyfriend be like, oh man, why can't we be more like them? It's like, if you stop comparing yourself to these perfect couples and you stop like acting out of envy, because let's be honest, that's another form of envy. You're really just, you're wishing you were them, and in a form that you're kind of pissed off because you're not like them, which is in another sense kind of like envy. Like, maybe you don't hate them specifically, but you're dreading on the fact you're not like them, and that's not right either. Maybe instead of focusing on their relationship, focus on your own. Maybe it's time, like I said before, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what are you doing wrong? Because if you feel like something ain't right, either one of you is doing something wrong. And that's why you have to communicate with each other. Simple. But stop envying people. Like, you can create, I'm telling you, your life will be so much better. I literally can promise this to you. If you just open your mind to new people, you listen to people that are better than you, whether that is money, relationships, whatever. Like, if I want to talk about relationships, I'm going to go to the 80-year-old couple that have been married for the past 60 years. I will go to them over the high school couple. Why would I go talk to them? They don't know anything. The people that have been together for 60 years, I can get so many years of experience by just having a one simple 10-minute conversation with them. So that's what I'm saying. Envying just holds you back to the max, and you don't even realize it. You will meet the best people if you just put the envy away. Never bring it out again. Envying does you no good. Oh, they're doing better than you? Who cares? If you want to be like them, ask questions. There you go. Instead of hating on them, maybe actually put your ego to the side and just ask questions. That's it. That's all there is to it. You'd be surprised on how much you can learn about people and how much you can learn for yourself, for your own knowledge or whatever. You'd be surprised. There's a reason why people say, like, when you put yourself around certain people, you pick up traits from them. Whatever your friends are, you act like them. You also heard the quote of, you show me your friends, you show me your future. Things like that, because you do pick up traits. So when you ask people that are better than you, and you put yourself around people that are better than you, what are you going to do? You're going to pick up traits from them. You're going to listen to them. Just make sure you're actually listening. And there you go. But I'm telling you, there's no point to envy people. There's already so much hate in the world. There really is. Everybody hates everyone. You hear that all the time too. Oh, I just hate everybody. I hate people. Can't stand people. And it's like, okay, like, what's your point? What do you get out of this? Seriously, what do you get out of hating everyone? You get nothing. Because that's just, you're not listening to anybody. You won't listen to anyone. You think you're better than everybody. Your ego is too fragile that if somebody better than you comes across, you always have some shit to say. And it's like, put it away, dude. Put the ego away. Talk to people that are better than you at certain things. Love people. And your life will be so much better. You will let go of the bullshit. You will stop envying everyone. Start loving people. And that's all there is to it. And you'll be surprised. Like I said, you'll learn so much more. There's people that go to college. There's people that don't go to college. There's people that are successful. There's people that are not successful. But everybody has their own thing that they're good at. Like, maybe somebody will come to me about, how do you think this way? I've had one of you comment that, like, how do you change? And I answered you. And because that person had the dignity and he put his ego aside and he's like, you know what? This kid may be younger than me, maybe older than me, whatever. But I think he knows what he's talking about. I believe what he's saying. I believe what he's speaking about. So you know what? I'm going to ask questions. Instead of hating him for his process of thinking, which there's people out there like that. Oh, he's so positive all the time. Oh, that's bullshit. Like, there people say anything because they don't see that themselves. And what I'm saying is, don't be like those people. Be the person who opens up to people, who loves people. Even if you're an introvert, don't let that too. Like, people say, oh, I'm introverted, so, I hate people. No. Sure, you don't like big social gatherings. Sure, you don't like talking to a bunch of people, but that doesn't mean you hate people. I guarantee, like, unless you are the 1% or less than that, you have to have some type of person in your life. If you were truly lonely, truly, like, no family, no friends, no wife, no boyfriend, none of that, and you were by yourself, you would probably go insane. That's just a fact, because humans are social creatures. We're emotional. We're very social. We like talking to people. There's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. So, like I said, I keep repeating myself, but it's true. Put your ego aside, stop envying everyone, and you'll actually learn a thing or two. And on top of that, they will probably appreciate you. Now, yes, there's pieces of shit out there, but they will appreciate you for just simply showing interest. I am sure there's a bunch of rich people out there that would simply just be happy for somebody like me, or young, or not even young. Maybe they're like, man, I really want my life to change, so I'm gonna go up to this person. Somebody to show interest in them. I guarantee there's a lot of them out there like, man, they just wish somebody would come up and ask questions. That way they can just tell them everything that they know. That way they can feel useful. There you go. So you're not only are you helping them because they feel useful, because you're asking them to teach you something, you're also helping yourself because you get to learn a thing or two. So how about that? And on top of that, if everything goes well and you guys want to be friends, there you go. Now you have a friend too. So look at all the great things that just happened because you stopped envying. Like, seriously, look at it. It's like 3 things. 1, you help them. You're basically complimenting them because you're showing interest, you're asking questions, you're telling them basically that with your tone and the words you use, you're like, hey, you're useful to me, please help me. There you go. That's 1. 2, you help yourself because you're opening your mind to people that are better than you. You're like, you know what, this person's really good at this thing. I'm going to ask them questions and it's going to help me in advance. Boom, that's 2. And then 3, if things go well, and if you guys, or even if things go well, maybe you don't want to be friends, it's fine. But if things go well and you're like, man, this guy's really cool, this girl's really cool, how about I get your number and we become friends or hang out or something? Or maybe we'll come back to this place and you can help me flip or make money or whatever. Boom, now you got a business partner or a friend or whatever field you're in. You just succeeded in that anyways. Now ask yourself this. Now what would happen if I did not love, if I did not appreciate people, and instead I envied everyone? Okay, so let's take the same instance. Let's say I did meet that cliff diving guy, and instead of being like, man, how do I do this, or how do you do that? Instead, I was in my head, I would tell him, you know, you're a piece of shit, you think you're better than everybody. Because let's be honest, people that envy, most of the time, they don't say it to anyone's face. Because they know they're wrong. That's the thing. They know they're wrong. That's why they don't say it to their face. Because they know they shouldn't be doing that. And, so let's say that you just strictly envy them. Whether it was you said it to them or you said it in your head. And you never ask questions. What do you gain out of that? Moment of silence. What do you gain out of that? The answer is nothing. You gain nothing from envying people. You cannot come up with an actual answer on what you actually gain out of envying people. The only thing you come up with, if you're being honest with yourself, is I get to protect my fragile ego. That's it. That's the only reason why people envy, is because they want to protect their fragile ego. That's why they call people names, because they're doing better than them. Like when somebody's doing better than me, I'm never going to sit there and be like, oh, what a prick. Unless he's actually a prick. If he's actually showboating and all that, okay, whatever. But like, people take anything as showboating. If you're rich and you're like, man, I want to spend some money on a Lamborghini, people get pissed off about that. It's your money. Why do they care so much? I don't understand, right? If people are really good at basketball and they want to sit here and do a 360 but East Bay and dunk it, right? People be like, oh, what a show off. It's just a show off. And you know what? Sometimes it's good to show off. Sometimes it is good to show off because you don't know what kind of people are really watching you. There could be a little kid out in that crowd and be like, man, I really want to be like him one day. When you take your shirt off and you flex in the gym mirror, yes, does it look cocky? Yes, it does. But everybody does it. It shows progress and it gains respect because people aren't willing to go in the gym every day and lift and take care of themselves. They're not. But like I said, you don't know who's watching. So that showboating, you might have just motivated or inspired somebody in the back, whether it was an old dad or a child who was like, man, I really want to look like him one day. And then maybe they ask questions because they act out of love, not envy. So it's just, you just gotta put it away. Stop envying everybody, start loving people, learn from people better than you. Your life will be so much better. Any reasonable human is not gonna argue with me on that. And I'm not saying that you can't disagree with me. Disagree with me all you want, but I'm telling you, in this situation, you know what's right. You know that you should listen to people better than you. I'm not saying that you have to agree with everything they have to say, but I'm just saying, if they're better than you, they're doing something different from you, or they're doing the same thing as you, just better. That's why they're better. You know, obviously it depends on the thing we're talking about, but in most cases, that's how it is. So it all comes down to your process of thinking. And some of you might be asking the question, you know, how do I change that though? And like I said, it just takes time. It takes time. It takes steps. I mean, I could try to give you an exact step. I guess I would say, okay, here, I got you. Most change will come through action, right? You can sit there, you can manifest, you can imagine, you can put it all in your mind. That's great. But nothing will happen if you don't put action to it to make it happen. So, in the same sense with this, the next time you see somebody doing better than you, and the thoughts might come up, I'm not going to lie, we're all human. You're a human, I am. It's happened. The thoughts might be there. The thoughts might be telling you, oh, what a piece of shit that guy is. He's showboating. But I want you to think logically. Is he actually showboating? And even if he is, am I still willing to go talk to this guy? Or am I still willing to go talk to this girl and ask her questions? And you should do it. Obviously, if you don't feel threatened or anything, obviously, I'm not saying put your life at risk, but if you know your life isn't at risk, like there's no weird feeling, you just think they're a dickhead, go talk to them. And you know what? What's the worst thing that happens? They be rude to you. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but don't allow that fear of uncertainty ruin your chance at learning a bunch of new things, right? So the next time those thoughts creep in, when you see someone doing better than you, ask questions instead of hating on them. And you might just understand that most people, maybe not most, but a lot of people out there are really good people. And they do just want to feel useful. So give them that chance to be useful. If you see a guy in a nice car, go up to him and maybe ask a question about his car. Well, what kind of specs does it have? I'm not a big car guy, but if you are, go ask questions. Or simply just, man, what do you do? Like, what do you do for work? How do you make this much money? How do you do this? And you might learn a lot. Like, your life will change when you stop envying people, because you'll open your mind up to people that are better than you. Envying is just a way to protect your ego and to not progress further in your life. I've said this before in another video. I said, treat life like a video game. You're your own character. You level up every time you gain a bit of knowledge. You level up every time you take care of yourself. You level up every time you travel. You get an experience. You hang out with family. You're leveling up slowly. But envying is detracting your levels. So take away envying, add in love, and your levels will come back up. Because you'll be gaining knowledge again. You'll be forming new relationships with people. You'll have people to talk to. You'll have people to learn from that are better than you. And there you go. So when you really ask yourself, what do you get from envying? The real answer to yourself should be nothing. Nothing. Obviously, if you feel like your life is threatened, that's not really envying. That's just judgment, being like, okay, something ain't feel right, and listen to your intuition. Listen to that. But envying is strictly just you're hating on somebody because they're doing better than you. At least that's how I view it. Like I said, I don't know the exact definition, but that's how I view it. You hate someone that are doing better than you, and it happens all the time. There's people that will probably hate me for making this video, like, because I was able to speak up about it. Like, people envy people over everything. But it's not about what people do. It's not about human nature. That's why I love God, and I like the Bible, because yes, it does everything against the human nature. That's why it's so hard to do the things like not lust, stay loyal to one person. But when you really follow the teachings, all the bad stuff goes away. And the bad stuff is human nature. As a man, people want to go get with multiple women. No, not saying everybody does. No. Some people are born with just that sense of, I just want one woman. And that's great. But if we're talking about a human as a whole, like as a man, that's them. But when you go against that, you'll find that your life is going to be a lot better. So it's the same thing with envying. Yes, is it natural to envy? But does that mean you should? No. It means you should work on fixing that. Open your mind to new things. And I promise you, here's the thing. When you do the thing I just told you to do, next time you think bad of somebody that's doing better than you, go ask questions instead of sitting there and pondering and just envying over everything, right? Go up and ask questions that are from people that are better than you. When that experience happens and it goes well, now you're going to be like, oh, wish I would have known this sooner. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be like, I really wish I would stop doing this sooner. And my life would have been so much better years ago. Yeah, my head itches. But yeah. And even if the experience goes bad, like say you're doing this for the first time, it goes terrible, the guy's a dickhead, girl's a dickhead, whatever. Don't let that stop you. Like, you got to understand that there are people out there that are generally just rude. But that's not everybody. There are people out there that are better than you that are humble. And even if they're not, they still want to be useful, so they're still going to provide you with information that you want and need. So think about that too. Just stop the envy, learn to love. Your life will be so much better that way. And that's really all I have to say. Other than that, you guys blew up the one video, got like 1.7K views. I know it happened like 5 days ago, but I appreciate it. I really do. I hope that one day this audience can grow even more, and I could take this somewhere. So I really like helping you. I hope that my videos help your, live your life in a more positive manner. I know there's a lot of negativity in the world, but yeah, if you like the videos, follow me. It helps a lot. It helps keep me motivated. It really does. And no, I don't like to chase the numbers. I really don't. But I'm just telling you that the subscribers, when I see people following, it's showing me that, oh, people do find this stuff interesting. People do like to listen. So that's a sign to me when you follow me. So don't hesitate, follow, and I promise you I'll keep making these videos. Obviously, I struggle with inconsistency sometimes, but I'm trying to get better. I really am. But I do like these videos. I like helping you, and I hope that my videos provide value for you to improve your life. But other than that, I wish you the best. Stop envying, start loving people more, and life isn't too short to make a change.